A group called Concerned Youth in Gunjur have complained bitterly about sand mining activities around the Combo South areas. Traders along Coastal Road Highway disgruntled over execution of Operation Clean the Nation. And elsewhere, South African authorities are widening their vaccination program by including homeless people in different parts of the country. These and more coming on The World Today. Do stay with us. Many thanks for joining us. This is The World Today newscast here on Africa TV with me, Sohna Tunka, and now to our news in detail. A group called Concerned Youth in Gunjur have complained bitterly about sand mining activities around the Combo South areas. They called on the attention of stakeholders to review the authorities of sand miners to prevent grievous environmental and health complications. Detail of that in this report.
Sand mining activities have always been a challenge in the country, with communities and mining companies regularly at conflict. In the same venture, a group known as Concerned Youth in Gunjur has raised the red flag high over what it called damages caused by sand miners in the coastal areas. Abu Bojang, member of the organization, recalled their long-standing struggle on tree planting to protect the ecosystem, but their efforts appear to be undermined by sand mining activities.
We've been struggling for this for so long, over 5-6 years, since we are trying to come up with, to protect this road. Yeah, every year, we try to do something. They are planting, tree planting and other stuff, but the sand miners, when we leave, they will come, and damage everything, and start to, tightening the road, because the dimension of the road is there. Yeah, we've made that agreement with them way back, many years ago. This is not today, since time of Yaya Jammeh. Yeah, we've made agreement with them, but every year, the size of the road is going. That is, the dimension of the road will be maintained, and it will not be, mined by anybody. But this is just a word to them. Every time they are mining the road, every time they are mining the road.
As he explained, the road leading to the beach has been totally damaged, increasing the chances of river erosion to environmental disaster.
So that's the main road we are standing. So if you can see, it's like, it's going zigzag, zigzag. Yeah. So if there is nobody there, to protect the road, yeah, miners will just do whatever they like to do, and they don't have limit of, how much deeper they should mine. They just mine like, well, if you check it out, you see water. They mine till water come out. Yeah, they mine to their own extent. Yeah, this is the point.
Aside from the ongoing mining activities in the coastal area of Gunjur, the youth called on the government to consider relocating the Bakote dump site to refill their areas dug by miners. Press Secretary for Concerned Youth, Fabai Jane, noted that the area on which the mining activities are taking place could have been put into a better use and in public interest.
So we want to, call on, all stakeholders that can, support, this group in order to, target that, dumping. And if, we bring that, waste here, how many estates, would be, used, in that position? If the government, can put a support to that, because the lancing, that these people are operating, was been given by the government, Unity Mining, company. So lancing for destruction, if that is given, also, equally, lancing for, development, should also be in support.
Sand mining is a growing business worldwide, filling a critical need in construction projects ranging from roads to high-rises. But it is also blamed for a wide range of environmental issues such as coastal erosion and degradation of river systems. According to the association, it is out to tackle problems including sand mining, traffic and safety through active monitoring of activities along the coastal area. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Mariama Chang.
Still on the environment, The people of Costa Road expressed concern in the manner in which the police is executing the Operation Clean the Nation. They accuse the police of forceful exercise of power, despite public consensus on the need to get rid of all form of rubbish in residential and commercial areas. Details of that in this report.
Adama Jallo, a resident near the highway, highlighted the need for a more appropriate way to execute the operation, minus any form of force on the people. His reaction came in observation of certain arrests and legal measures against individuals in the name of the operation.
Trucks normally park here. That's why I put wheels around here. Because sometimes some drivers will drive right towards people who sit beside my compound, and in order to prevent any accident, I put the wheels here. The police said I should remove it immediately, so because I don't want to push and pull with them, I agreed, because it is the government which brought this initiative. But I just wanted them to stop 40 meters away from my lands and stop their operation there. I don't want them going beyond that because my compound is outside that zone.
Modusala, who runs a tire repairing shop, expressed his frustration with the operation and how he, together with his neighbors, has been subjected to arrest and detention.
We remove all our materials that we put in front of our shops because they asked us to. However, the next day they came, they asked who owns the tents beside the shops, and we admitted to own it. That was the time they asked us to climb their vehicles, and we were all arrested, including my wife.
Babakar Sise, a businessman at the Costa Road, explained how the operation has affected his business.
There
are things we are grateful for, but there are others that affect us a lot. Like today, they remove our tents that we erected here to find shade from the sun and prevent rain from coming in. When they remove all these, it distorted most of the things we built. If our materials are inside and not outside, customers will be affected, and we will also not be able to make that much sale. Paying for so many things and your materials end up being destroyed is not that good for us.
The Operation Clean the Nation exercise is one of a series conducted by the Gambia security officials to ensure a clean and safe environment. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Hawan Jai.
Costa Road traders disgruntled over the execution of Operation Clean the Nation. Now moving on, Premium Times Center for Investigative Journalism, Dabuwa, a fact-checking platform for journalists, has wrapped up a 3-day training for 13 Gambian journalists. The training was geared towards preparing journalists to tackle misinformation as well as disinformation on public platforms through investigation and reporting of accurate information. Amindao has the rest of that story.
The rise in citizen journalism in the world is alarming, with disruptive practice in digital journalism through the spreading of misinformation or disinformation for public consumption. This is what Dubawa, a fact-checking and verification platform, aims to counter with the training of journalists in the West African English-speaking countries. In partnership with the Gambia Press Union, the platform enrolled 13 Gambian journalists in response to what is known as fake news and its dissemination. Speaking at the end of the training, the Executive Director of Premium Times Center for Investigative Journalism, Mr. Dapu, underscored the importance of the fact-checking sessions.
This is a very difficult time in the history, not only of the world, but in our own community, where we have a crisis of information, and this crisis expresses itself mostly through a lot of misinformation, and at other times also through disinformation. This has great implication for democracy, great implication for public health, electoral integrity, and just how the integrity of public policy. All these have a way of affecting, the community, citizens, and development in the So that's why fact-checking is particularly a very useful tool.
The Minister of Information and Communication Infrastructure, Ibrahim Silla, welcomes the initiation and pledged his minister's support to enhance crucial issues relating to elections and public policy.
This can help a lot, and it can bring in a lot of credibility for the media fraternity. And I want to assure you that the government of the Gambia, through the Ministry of Information and Communication Infrastructure, will work with you to see that this component of journalism, which is fact-checking, is strengthened and enhanced to help the people make informed choices and decisions on crucial issues relating to election and public policy.
Keba Jifang, one of the participants, highlighted the importance of the training and how it will be beneficial to him as a journalist.
So us having been trained on this, will be out there to make some certain correction to certain information that are out there, so that people would be rightly informed, and then they can take, correct decisions as far as their life and livelihoods are concerned, but also not to, react in certain ways, because sometimes when wrong information have been peddled, it created that, chaotic situation in the society, in the communities. So having us, train, and then we come at the right time to dispel this information, this information definitely will avert, situation of conflict or, violence in our communities.
The training came at a time when the country is battling with misinformation as well as disinformation, mainly on online public platforms ahead of the December presidential election. Dubawa, meaning to check in the Hausa language as a fact-checking institution, has trained over 300 journalists in all the West African English-speaking countries within the past 3 years. Amin Dao, 4i Africa News.
13 Gambian journalists have undergone a 3-day training on fact-checking with Dubawa. Now elsewhere in Africa, as part of the efforts to battle against the COVID-19 pandemic, South African authorities are widening their vaccination program by including homeless people in different parts of the country. An estimated 200,000 people are said to be staying on the streets, with many of whom exposed to different ailments, especially the coronavirus pandemic. The one-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine is being used for the vaccination drive. Details of that in this report.
It's estimated that around 200,000 people live on South Africa's streets, a vulnerable community that's been hit extra hard by the COVID-19 pandemic.
The homeless people, it has been a very tough time, especially in the winter. They're very susceptible to flus and colds, and where they may have comorbidities already, TB, for example, or diabetes, many have HIV. These are serious health issues, which then they can be impacted further by something like COVID.
31-year-old Robert Magadui of Mozambique is one of the first 14,000 homeless people in the city of Cape Town to be vaccinated.
I don't have a place to stay. I have to struggle to eat. So the pandemic has made it very difficult for me as far as being homeless is concerned. I'm living on the streets, I'm hungry, and I needed assistance, and here they gave me the vaccine.
The Western Cape government says it will prioritise the use of the single-dose Johnson & Johnson jab in its drive to vaccinate remote, rural and homeless communities.
For homeless, we are using for J&J because it's a one dose. Because with the Pfizer, it means that you have to come back again 42 days. So we have to provide J&J, and I'm glad that now we'll be pushing more to be used, and also in other homeless shelters, because you don't want to bother people to come, because they will forget anyway about their return dates.
Homeless people in South Africa who want to be vaccinated will be able to sign up whether or not they have formal identity documents, and they'll be entered in South Africa's electronic vaccine data system.
So today's been amazing, just to see so many people coming and excited to be able to access the vaccine.
I've been 2 years on the street, and I'm very happy and relieved to get my vaccine.
A sentiment now shared by many homeless people across South Africa's mother city.
From that story on South Africa, we will go with a short commercial break and return with the remaining stories. Stay tuned.
The locations, the design, the materials used, all the way down to the latest details, are few of many things that we focused on when we envisioned the airport residency. As proud innovators of community estates, the airport residency in Old Yundum, a project by Swami India International, offers unique gated community with 3- and 4-bedroom villas and duplexes. Just 5 minutes away from the Banjul International Airport. Luxury, convenience, and accessibility are some of the reasons you should consider this great housing opportunity. With a clubhouse, a playground, access roads, and parking facilities available for your dream home or a valuable investment, you will find all you need at Airport Residency here in Old Yundum.
Welcome back. You're still watching the World Today newscast, and now to our remaining stories. President Adam Barrow welcomed 61 people that crossed carpet from Gambia Democratic Congress to National People's Party at State House. The group are from Burusubi in the West Coast region of the Gambia. Barrow tells the gathering that politics is a peaceful war, and so his party is ready for the 2021 presidential elections, and says dual citizenship have the right to vote in the elections, and his party will defend members at revising courts. Let's hear of that in this report.
President Adama Barrow says NPP will do everything to defend party members at the revising court if anyone files a case against them. He says the fight for freedom is over now, but there are others bringing division in the country. What the minister told you, any member taken to court, our legal team will defend you because we believe we are equal in this country. No one is better than the other. One elder told me that you said the struggle is over in the Gambia, but there are two parties in the Gambia. The group that fought for liberation are with President Barrow, but others that fought for claiming ownership over the country and think they are better than everyone. They are the ones still fighting, and that is what we have here. Information, Communication and Infrastructure Minister Ibrahim Silla says victory is certain for Barrow in the coming election. Having engaged the registration process, Silla says his party will do everything within their powers to defend the registration process.
Ndolla MPP mbelola la kaje ko momo natanim MPP dingolati.
For the NPP, we will make sure whoever is NPP and you are a citizen of this country and you are registered, the party will defend you as a citizen and none of you should fear. There are laws in this country and none have the right to take your votes from you. I heard someone in a video that they are waiting for the courts to make sure those who should not have voters card and have it will have them taken. None have such rights in this country. Dr. Sabali, a former GDC, now Deputy National President of National People's Party, accuses the United Democratic Party of profiling people and says that shows their inability to rule the country. He says 3 ballot boxes will decide the 2021 presidential election, but Barrow will emerge as the victor.
You go box door. You go UDP la box already.
The box belonging to UDP is a box that you don't want to face. The one patriotic Gambians don't want to face. It is a box filled with insults, criticism and denigrating people, and Gambians won't look at that box. The second box belongs to His Excellency Adama Barrow, and I have looked into it and I saw Gambians from Banjul whose roads are constructed for billions of dollars. I did schooling here in Banjul and knew how the roads were. Those Gambians, both home and in the diaspora, are proud of what Barrow did. Those are the people I saw in Barrow's box. Fatisise Gilen is a leading figure from the group that cross-carpeted to NPP and says her group sees Barrow as an embodiment of peace.
Our coming to you was in us, because we saw your stand for the country in maintaining peace. When you wake up and place your feet on the ground, the first thing you think of is peace, and you brought us peace. I believe everything is possible within peace. If you go out to fend for living or want something good, you have peace. That is why you think that way.
Reporting for iAfrica TV, this is Omar Ahmad Toure.
From there, in a bid to fast-track its vaccination campaign, Tunisia's president has encouraged all Tunisian nationals to participate in an open-day inoculation exercise across the country. Health authorities have outlined measures to enable everyone get vaccinated during the stipulated time frame, and the North African nation has received millions of coronavirus doses to help inoculate its people. More of that in this report.
President Kais Saied has called on Tunisians to flock to vaccination centers during the open day. The head of state noted that 6 million doses of coronavirus vaccine have been donated in 15 days. Saied added that 6 million more will be supplied in the next few weeks.
I call on Tunisians throughout the country to get vaccinated during the open day and not to hesitate. Large quantities of vaccine and medical equipment are currently available. The obstacles have been removed and normal life will resume its course in Tunisia after these open days of vaccination.
According to the Health Department and the COVID-19 Task Force, 1.5 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines were made available for the walk-in vaccinations. These quantities were distributed to the 333 vaccination centers in the 24 governorates.
Even those who have not registered for vaccination can get their first jab in any vaccination center. Medics, paramedics, public health officials, and civil society volunteers are facilitating this operation and making it as smooth as possible. The vaccines are available. Together, we can make this open day successful.
This is the main vaccination center at Al Manzah Olympic Stadium in the capital city, Tunis. Many civilian medics and paramedics, as well as volunteers, have been mobilized, administering more than 4,000 COVID-19 vaccines in 12 hours. As tens of thousands of people turned up, several vaccination centers reached capacity shortly after opening.
It's very important to get vaccinated. It's an opportunity. It's much easier than waiting for an appointment. The turnout is exceptional as people flocked to the vaccination centers very early in the morning. I'm happy, and I hope this open day will help in limiting the number of infections and deaths.
The Defense Ministry mobilized 666 medics and paramedics in 333 walk-in vaccination centers. A new COVID-19 pandemic operations room, headed by the Director General of Military Health, is in charge of coordination between government ministries.
Elsewhere in West Africa, the recent increase of price of gas cylinders in Nigeria has forced many customers to find other alternatives to continue their activities. The unfavorable situation also triggered a significant decline in the sales of cooking gas in the West African nation, and with many families and restaurant owners back on firewood, some health experts warn of its ramifications. Details of that in this report.
It's the peak period of sales at this gas plant, but there are no customers. The manager of the gas plant says sales has dropped drastically since the price of gas in the country was suddenly jacked up 3 weeks ago.
Presently, the price of gas is 454 naira per kg. So when you want to buy 12.5 kg now, that's about 5,700 approximately, and that's on the high side because the complaints, the feedback we are getting from customers is not something to be happy about. But then what do? I use gas at home too, so I know how it feels. It hurts.
Some customers like petty trader Oluwatosin Akinremi are still managing to put up with the hike in price. But she says she has had to make some drastic adjustments.
So I was using 12.5. I couldn't, because I cannot afford the price, so I have to go and buy this half of it, 6 kg. Now 6 kg is 3,000. So the thing is really affecting me, and there's no how you can do without cooking.
Restaurant owner Yu Ugoya is still using gas for her cooking, but she says she's already planning to switch over to charcoal.
Let me try charcoal for 1 week. If I buy 1 bag of charcoal, then I will now compare it with gas. And I believe charcoal is even better now, not even need of daily. The gas is going up every day.
Some other local restaurant owners have since abandoned gas for firewood and not making any plans to make a U-turn.
The smoking disturbs me.
This smoke disturbs me a lot. It affects my eyes and my lungs. It also disturbs my neighbor. Sometimes they complain about the smoke, but I usually plead for their patience. I just cannot help it.
Apart from the issues of climate change, medical experts say the use of firewood also poses serious health hazard. And with the increasing price of gas, more people like Abba are likely to turn to firewood.
We do know, for example, that when you incinerate firewood and you burn it and use it as a cooking fuel, you tend to produce over 200 different chemicals. Prominent, of course, is carbon monoxide, nitrous oxide, and a couple of other chemicals. The issues with these chemicals is that they are almost as pungent and as dangerous to health as the usual cigarette smoke we talk about.
Nigeria consumes an estimated 1 million metric tons of cooking gas annually. Even though the country is a major gas producer, it still imports about 65% of what it consumes, as local production of cooking gas is still very low. High cost of foreign exchange as a result of devaluation is mainly responsible for the hike in the price of gas.
With a story on hiking price of gas in Nigeria brings the world today to an end. For more national news, you can catch up with Mariama Cham on Gambia 24 at 19:30 GMT here on Africa TV. My name is Sohna Tunka. Thanks for watching and bye for now.